Good morning, fifth grade. Happy Friday. Hopefully, everybody's ready for a good weekend. Okay, you guys just finished your test yesterday. So, today we're going to start on a new topic. We're going to get into integers now. Integers are a key part of pre algebra, which you'll be experiencing next year. So, we're going to just hit on the basics. It's not very difficult at all, but it's good to understand what you'll be looking at next year. So here we go. You're on Google Classroom right now. So let's go over here to our classwork. I added a new topic. Our new topic, if we scroll all the way down here below chapter 12, I have integers right here. Click on that. That brings us to our integers section here. Here are your notes right here. Don't forget to print these out and follow along. So we're going to be looking at understanding integers. So let's see what we have right here. I have my notes up right here. So understanding integers today. Now, we know that numbers greater than 0 are known as positive numbers. Good, pretty basic. Numbers that are less than 0 are known as negative numbers. Pretty basic there. Basically, if we have our 0 here, okay, when I go to the left of 0, when I go this way, now I'm not sure what it looks like on your end if I'm going the opposite way, but this is my left. Those are our negatives. If we go to the right of 0, that is our positives. Now, what do negatives represent? Well, here's some things in everyday life that we do when we look at negative our numbers here. Debt. If we are in debt, which means we owe more money than we have, that's known as debt. We are into some type of a debt. Okay. Now let's look at. Hold on. Got to sneeze. Excuse me, right there. Okay, we're dealing here with depth. Depth would be below sea level. Anything that is below sea level is negative. Anything that is above our sea level is positive. Okay, so when we're dealing with below, we're dealing with our negative, our numbers there. Temperature in degrees Celsius below freezing. Now, that's when we get into like the -2, -3, -4, when it's really, 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 really cold, and we're hoping for a school cancellation. Okay, now, as you do know here, if we take a look down here, if we scroll down here, negative numbers, okay, we have a sign that we use in front of them. Guess what it is? Yes, it's a negative sign. And a positive, we have a positive sign. But understand this, if I have the number 9 right here, if I do not have the plus in front of it, if I have a plus, then we know, hey, it's positive. If I do not have the plus, we also know that it's a positive number also. Okay, pretty basic here. Now, 0, guess what? It's neither positive nor negative. And guess what the opposite of 0 is? 0. Pretty basic, pretty easy so far. Okay, now let's talk about what an integer is. It's really important to understand what an integer is. An integer is a set of whole positive numbers, okay, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are integers, okay? 1.4 is not an integer because it's not whole. 8.752 is not an integer because it's not whole. And they're opposites, which means -1 is an integer, -2 is an integer, -3 is an integer, -4 is an integer. -4.5 is not an integer, okay? There's no decimals or fractions with integers at all. And what is also an integer is, yes, you can see it here, is our 0, okay? If we look at a number line here, as you can see what I was just talking about before, at 0, this is our 0 point right here. Okay, anything to the left of 0 is negative. Anything to the right of 0 is negative. So that's going to be very, very important. Now, we're going to get into absolute values here. Some of you are definitely familiar with absolute values. Probably all of you are familiar with absolute values. But an absolute value of an integer is its distance from 0. It's a measurement. Okay, it's a measurement on how far something is from 0. So let's say I go up here to my number line and I put a little dot here at -3. How far away is -3 from 0? Well, it's 1, 2, 3. It's 3 units away, so that is going to be positive. No matter what our distance here is going to be positive. If I had a point here at 1, okay, 1, how far away is 1 from 0? Well, It's 1 unit away. Okay, now the symbol that we use for absolute value is right here, okay? It's these two lines in front and back of a number, okay? And we would read this as the absolute value of 7. So if I were to have 7 way out here, okay, we'll say this is 7 right here. How far away is 7 away from 0? Well, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is a distance of 7 away from 0. So the absolute value of 7 is 7. Not too bad. Okay, let's look at this one. Negative 10. So negative 10 is way out here. Okay, so I have to go see how far away is negative 10 away from 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a distance of 10 units away, so it's always positive, so it's going to be positive 10. So the absolute value of negative 10 is positive 10. The absolute value of 7 is positive 7. So as you can see here, your answer is going to be positive. Okay, very good here. Let's see what we have down here. It says, when comparing integers on a number line, the integer that is furthest to the left is less. Integer values on a number line decrease as you move left and increase as you move right. Okay, now why are we saying this? The reason why we are saying this, let's just take this right here. If I put a dot here, okay, at negative 4, and I put a dot here at negative 1, okay, this gets confusing for some of the kids. I say, okay, which is greater, negative 4 and negative 1? Some people go, okay, Mr. Spencer, I know this. It's negative 4. No, it's not. Okay, but why? Because 4 is greater than 1. But we're dealing with negatives. What does this say here? It says, when comparing integers on a number line, the integer that is further to the left is less. Okay, so if you look here, which is further to the left? Well, the negative 4 is. That means the negative 4 is smaller than negative 1. Okay, so we know that negative 1 is larger, negative 4 is smaller. Okay, let's look and see at this example right here we have. It says negative 5 is further to the left than 1. Okay, so if I'm here at negative 5, okay, and I have a point here at 1, okay, we can see to the left we have our negative 5. So negative 5 is further to the left than negative 1. Therefore, we then know that negative 5 is less than positive 1. Okay, you just can't say, well, hey, 5 is greater than 1. No, you have to pay attention to that negative sign. That's going to be very, very important. So make sure you do not forget that when going over your homework. Okay, so let's see what else do we have here. Scroll down here. Rational numbers. Okay, let's talk about rational numbers here. Rational numbers are any number that can be shown as a quotient, which is a fraction, of two numbers. Any number that can be written as a fraction. Remember, quotient is nothing more than division. Fractions are division. Okay, so it says right here, for any integer a and b, where b cannot be 0, because if we have a 0 in here, okay, that means it's undefined. We cannot have a 0 in the denominator. So any number that I have here, a and b, if we can write this as a fraction, it is rational. It's a rational number here. It's not a whole, okay? It's not a whole. It is a rational. So we can write our rational numbers in different ways. So I have negative 4/3 is the same as negative 1 1/3, which is the same as negative 1.3, and the 3 repeats. Now, let me also tell you a couple things about the negatives. Let me show you something here. Let's do this as a fraction here. You may want to write this down. Okay, right there, as you saw, we had negative 4/3. Okay, just so you know, this can be written the same way. This is also the same as negative 4/3. Oh, get my 3 here. Okay, negative 4/3, which is also the same as positive 4/3. Okay. All of these three here, these three fractions here are exactly the same. There's nothing different about them at all. So just so you understand that. Okay. And that's all we have here on the lesson. So it's pretty basic to understand. But what I do want to do, I want to go back here and I do want to look at your homework here very quickly here. I want to make sure that you understand what is going on. So let me go over in here, go into your homework here, just to see if there's any questions that we are going to have. Here's your integer homework that I have here up here. So if we pull this up here, so let's take a quick look here and let's see if they're asking us anything crazy to do here. So understanding integers, it says, tell if the number is an integer. So remember, you need to know it's going to be whole and it's going to be its negatives also. Those are integers, okay? No fractions, no decimals, that type of stuff. So that's pretty easy to understand. So you can just write yes or no with that. If we scroll down here, it says draw a number line, okay? And locate each integer on the number line. Okay, here's pretty much the easiest thing to do. We're not going to make life difficult for you. Basically, draw a number line here. Okay, put your arrows because you understand where they're going to go. Put a 0 point here. Okay, start with a 0. Now, basically what I'm looking at is -4 to the right of 0 or is it to the left of 0? Of course, it's to the left. Draw a line here. We know it's going to be left, so it's going to be -4 here. Okay, that's all that I'm asking you to do. Pretty basic, pretty easy to understand. Okay, let's scroll down here. Let's see what else we have here. Comparing. Okay, you're going to use either greater than or less than. Okay, so you see here, these are all pretty basic here. What you're probably going to have to use here is division. Or I guess I know some of you are going to use it, a calculator, and see what 11 divided by 12 is. But do not forget, what do we not forget here? We do not forget this is a negative here. Do not forget that. So make sure you check that out. Okay, so that's pretty basic there. Not a whole lot. Okay, absolute values here. Remember, distance away from 0. Make sure you understand that. Okay, we look over here. Now, key thing here, ordering the integers. What does this say? Greatest to least. So the largest number's over here. The smallest number here is to the right, and go from there. Now, like this one here, somebody say, hey, do I use 25 or the absolute value of 25? Use your original numbers here. Use the absolute value of -25 is 25. So use your absolute. So use your absolute when you order it. Okay, let's continue on down here. See what else we have here. Okay, write each number as an integer. Okay. What does that mean? That means you're going to take, hey, Cole has $64 in his bank account. Does he have below our 0 in this, or is it above 0? Well, guess what? It's above. So you could write plus $647 or just $647. You can go with that. Remember, if you're dealing below, put the negative in front. Things like, let's see, you should be pretty good to go. Remember, you look for your keywords, debt. Is tall, is he positive or negative? I think if you lose things, if you save things, lost, going backwards, think about that. If you owe somebody, Brock, he weighs 47 pounds, so is that positive or negative? And you go from there. So other than that, guys, it's pretty basic homework, but make sure you complete it and then check your answers on Google Classroom. Now, remember, you don't have to do this homework until Monday if you don't want to, but if you're bored and you feel like, hey, I want to do some homework, I missed math class, you can do that then. So other than that, guys, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Do your homework either now or on Monday, and you'll be good to go. Other than that, guys, have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.